I always thought my life was simple. I liked quiet mornings, slow evenings, and small moments that made me feel safe. Mira was a big part of that safety. I used to tell people, she understands me better than anyone. And I believed every word. One Friday evening during dinner, Mom smiled at Mira and said, "You're truly the best thing that happened to my son." Mira only gave a small nod. I laughed and nudged her. "Say something. They'll think you're shy." "I'm fine," she whispered, eyes fixed on her plate. Dad chuckled. "She's just humble. That's rare now." Adrian, my cousin, leaned forward. "Relax, Uncle. She's perfect for him. They're a power couple." I grinned. "Why are you talking like a movie character?" He slapped my shoulder. "Because I'm excited, man. It's been a while since I saw you happy." Mira let out a short breath, almost like she was irritated. I noticed it, but I thought she was just tired. She had been distant for the last few days, but she kept saying, "It's work stress. That's all." Mom suddenly said, "So listen, I invited Adrian to join us for the weekend trip. It'll be fun with more people." Myra's fork stopped midway. She didn't look up. "Oh, that's nice." I looked at her. "Hey, you okay?" "Yeah," she replied quickly. "Just surprised." Adrian laughed. "Don't worry, Mira. I won't bother you much." She forced a smile but didn't say anything back. Little Hannah whispered to me, "Why is she so quiet today?" I whispered back, "Maybe she's tired." Mom interrupted, "We all need this trip. A little family time. Fresh air. Good memories." I nodded. "Yeah. Good memories sound perfect." Mira finally spoke louder. "When are we leaving?" "Saturday morning," Dad replied. "Bright and early." "Okay," she said. No emotion. Just a flat word. Later, when dinner ended and everyone left the table, I caught Mira standing alone near the window. "Hey," I said softly. "Did something happen?" She shook her head. "No. You're imagining things. You didn't seem like yourself." I said, "I'm fine, okay?" Her tone was sharp, then she sighed. "Sorry? I don't know what's wrong with me today." I held her hand. "It's all right. We'll relax on the trip." She didn't look at me. "Yeah, maybe." Adrian walked by us and joked, "Don't fight on the first day of the trip." Mira stepped back quickly, almost too quickly, and muttered, "I'm going home." I frowned. "Want me to walk you?" "No. I'll text you." She left before I could say anything else. That night, lying in bed, I replayed her reactions in my mind. Something felt off, but I kept telling myself, "It's nothing. She loves me. She always has." I never knew that weekend trip, planned with love, laughter, and trust, would become the moment everything in my life shattered. The drive to the hill resort felt wrong from the moment we left home. I tried to ignore it, but the silence in the car kept pushing into my chest. Mira sat beside me, typing on her phone again and again. Every time I glanced her way, she tilted the screen away. I cleared my throat. "Who keeps texting you this much?" She didn't look up. "Just work stuff. Don't start, okay?" "I didn't start anything," I said softly, but something inside me tightened. From the back seat, Adrian leaned forward. "Bro, relax. It's a vacation. Smile a little." He slapped my shoulder like he always did, but today it felt forced. I tried laughing. "I am relaxed." "No, you're not," he joked. "You look like you're driving to your own funeral." Mira finally spoke. "Adrian, don't say weird things." "I'm just kidding," he said, but his eyes didn't match his voice. My mother, sitting beside him, whispered, "You worked too hard. Try to enjoy today, okay? We planned this for you." "I'm fine, Mom," I said, but I wasn't. The road twisted between the hills, and every turn made me feel heavier. Mira kept texting. Adrian kept making noise. I kept pretending nothing was wrong. When we reached the resort, everyone stepped out with excitement. Everyone except me. The place looked peaceful, with small wooden cabins and pine trees all around, but something about it felt too quiet. Mom pointed at the cabins. "Our rooms are in that row." She rubbed my arm. "Go rest a little." "Yeah," I said. "Sure." Inside our room, I placed my bag on the floor. There was only one suitcase, mine. "Where's your luggage?" I asked. "Oh, I left it in the car," Mira said quickly. "I'll get it later. I need fresh air." Before I could ask anything else, she walked out. I stared at the door for a long second. Fresh air? Now. Adrian passed by the open door. "Dude, stop worrying. She's just tired." "Did I say I'm worried?" He laughed. "You don't have to. It's on your face." I didn't reply. After a while, I stepped outside. The air felt colder than it should. I walked down the hallway of cabins, calling her name gently. Mira? Where'd you go? No answer. I walked slower, listening. A soft thud came from the far end. Then I heard it. Her voice. Mira? I whispered. It came again, quiet but clear, from behind a closed door. Wait, just close it, she said from inside. My chest tightened. Maybe I misheard. Maybe someone else had the same voice. Maybe I was tired. I placed my hand on the doorknob. My heart pounded so loudly it drowned everything else. It's nothing, I told myself. I'm overthinking. I trust her. Still, I twisted the doorknob because a small part of me, the part one didn't want to listen to, begged me to look. I pulled in a slow breath. And then I pushed the door. I didn't knock. I just grabbed the doorknob and pushed. Adrian stood there, shirtless, eyes wide like he'd been caught stealing candy. Sweat slicked his chest, hair sticking to his forehead. Behind him, 2 pillows were shoved into the middle of the bed. My stomach turned to stone. Mira? I shouted, my voice cracking. Ethan? No, don't. Her voice trembled from inside, almost pleading. Don't what? Don't what? I pushed past Adrian, my hands shaking. What's going on here? Adrian opened his mouth. Look, it's not. Not what? I shouted, my chest burning. Explain now. Mira stumbled out from the room, her face pale. I didn't want you to find out like this, she whispered, eyes darting away. Like this? How else could it have been? I stopped. My voice caught. Rage, disbelief, betrayal, they were all inside me, boiling over. Adrian stepped forward. Ethan, it's complicated. Complicated? You're sleeping with her. And you didn't even think I deserved to know. I screamed, shaking with anger. Myra's tears rolled freely down her cheeks. I didn't want to hurt you. You were never around. Never around? I laughed bitterly, shaking my head. You could have talked. You could have said something. But instead, this. Adrian's eyes flicked to my parents, who had appeared in the doorway. I didn't mean. My father's hand shot out and slapped him across the face. You've gone too far, Adrian. My mother's sobs broke the tension. Why did I invite him? Why did I? I felt my heart collapse. The world spun. I could hear my own breathing, ragged, panicked, but nothing else. My hands were trembling. The walls seemed to close in. I never wanted this, Mira said, her voice small and broken. Never wanted this? You destroyed everything. How could both of you, do this to me? I shouted, my throat raw. Hannah peeked from behind my mother, her small voice shaking. Big brother. She didn't know what to say. Neither did I. I couldn't stand. My legs felt like lead. I stumbled toward the door, pushing past everyone. Cold night air hit me like a slap as I stepped outside. I leaned against the railing, chest heaving. I wanted to scream, to throw something, to make it all go away, but no sound came. The world was silent. My mind raced in circles, each thought stabbing deeper than the last. I whispered to myself, barely audible, why me? Why me? Everything I thought I knew about love, trust, family, it shattered tonight. I didn't know how to fix it. I didn't know if I wanted to. I just stood there, trembling, letting the cold seep into my bones, wondering if I could ever look at them again. I stepped outside, the cold night air biting my cheeks, my heart hammering. Mira was there, shivering, her eyes red and wide. Ethan. She started, her voice trembling. You tell me? Now. My voice was raw, broken, trembling like the rest of me. She swallowed hard, tears slipping down her face. Adrian and we've been emotionally close. For months. Emotionally close? I laughed bitterly, a harsh, broken sound. You're telling me this now? After everything? Her hands shook as she raised them to my face. I didn't want to hurt you. Hurt me? I screamed, stepping closer. You didn't just hurt me. You destroyed everything I trusted, everything I believed in. Ethan, please, you have to understand. Understand what? That you were lying to me every day? That you let him into my life while pretending I was the only one? She bit her lip. Did you ever love me? My chest tightened like someone was squeezing it from the inside. Did I ever what? I demanded, voice shaking. Did you ever love me? Really? I stared at her, hoping for any sign, any truth. But her eyes dropped. She couldn't answer. Of course I loved you. I shouted, voice cracking. Do you know how it feels to find out the person you trusted most, your wife, was with your cousin the entire time? She shook her head, tears falling freely. I didn't want to hurt you, but you were never around. Never around? I laughed bitterly, rage and despair colliding. You think that excuses this? Nothing excuses this, Mira. Nothing. Adrian tried to speak, to explain himself, but my father's hand snapped across his cheek. Enough. Mira fell to her knees, sobbing uncontrollably, her body shaking. I'm sorry. I didn't want it to happen. My mother clutched her head, her voice trembling. Why did I invite him? Why did I fail you, Ethan? I backed away, my legs weak, my hands shaking. I couldn't breathe. My chest felt like it had been ripped open, and every heartbeat was pain. I can't, I whispered, my voice breaking. I can't stay here anymore. Mira reached for me, her hands grasping at empty air. Ethan, please, don't go. But I couldn't. I turned, my vision blurred by tears and fury, and walked into the darkness. The cold air slammed against my face, but it was the only thing I felt alive. Something inside me had broken, a part that would never fully heal. Every step away from them felt heavy, like dragging my heart behind me. The night was silent, indifferent, and I realized I was utterly alone. Alone with the weight of their betrayal, and the knowledge that life would never feel the same again. I whispered into the dark, almost to myself, how could you? When I reached home, everything felt colder than the mountain air I'd walked through. My mother touched my arm gently. Ethan, please sit. You need to rest. I'm fine, I muttered, though my voice sounded nothing like mine. My father stepped forward. Where is Mira? With her parents, I said flatly. She didn't come with me. And Adrian? My mother whispered. I don't know. I don't care. Hannah rushed from her room the second she heard my voice. She threw her arms around me, hugging me so tightly it made my throat tighten. You didn't deserve this, she whispered against my chest. I barely managed to breathe out. I know, Hannah. I know. I didn't sleep that night. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw the door, the pillows, Adrian's face, Myra's voice telling him to close the door. I sat in the dark until morning, staring at nothing. At breakfast, my mother said softly, Eat something, please. I'm not hungry. My father lowered his voice. You can't keep going like this. I'm not going anywhere, I replied, pushing the plate away. I don't feel anything. I just exist. My phone buzzed. I ignored it. It buzzed again. Then again. Finally, I picked it up. Mira had sent a wall of text. Ethan, please listen. I'm so sorry. I can't forgive myself. I don't know why I let things get this far. Please talk to me. I need you. I let the phone fall onto the sofa. Hannah picked it up and asked, Do you want me to block her? No, I said quietly. Let her say whatever she wants. It doesn't matter. Another notification appeared. Adrian. I hesitated, then opened it. I'm sorry, but I love her. Those words cut deeper than anything Mira had confessed. I whispered, He loves her? My voice cracked so suddenly it scared me. Hannah grabbed my hand. Don't read any more. Please. I shook my head. It doesn't matter. Nothing matters anymore. For the next few days I stayed locked in my room. My mother knocked gently. Can we talk? I don't want to talk. My father said, Let us help you. I can't be helped. My friends called. I declined every call. I muted every group. I didn't want anyone to see me like this, hollow, weak, drowning. One evening Hannah came in quietly. Are you thinking about divorce? I am, I whispered. But I feel too weak to start anything. Even filling a form feels impossible. She sat beside me. You're not weak. You're hurt. No, I said, staring at the dark ceiling. This is the weakest version of me. I don't even recognize myself. The room fell silent. My chest felt heavy enough to crush me. I closed my eyes, and for the first time, I feared I might not come back from this darkness. That night, I sank deeper than I ever had before, into a pit where even my own voice felt far away. I sat on the edge of my bed when my phone buzzed. It was my father. Ethan, sit down. You're not going to like this, he said, voice low. What happened? I asked, though my chest already felt heavy. Adrian lost his job, Dad said quietly. Fought with Myra's brother. HR had no choice. I swallowed hard. I see. My voice sounded flat, empty. That's not all, he continued. Myra's parents, they kicked her out. I closed my eyes, a strange calm washing over me. Where is she? She says she's at some cheap hostel. Sent a text to you too. I picked up my phone. Sure enough, there it was. Mira, I don't know where to go. I'm sorry. I'm staying here tonight. I stared at it, feeling nothing. Not anger. Not pity. just the hollow echo of everything she destroyed. Ethan? Mom called from the doorway, a soft hand on my shoulder. Don't hate them. Pain, it returns to those who cause it. I nodded barely. I understand. You'll be okay, she said. Time heals. I ignored her words. Time had already started moving and I would meet it halfway. I started small. Gym in the mornings. Cleaning my room. Helping Hannah with her homework. Even ordinary routines felt like victories. Hannah peeked into my room one night, a tentative smile on her face. You're really doing better, aren't you? I gave a small smile. Trying. Her tiny hand brushed my arm. You didn't deserve any of this. I know, I said, letting the words hang between us. Mira didn't stop messaging. Every day, long paragraphs, apologies wrapped in explanations, tears I couldn't see. I didn't reply. Adrian didn't contact me, but I knew he would have wanted to. Part of me imagined him trying, begging. I let the thought pass. One evening, I sat on the balcony, the city lights stretching below me. The wind felt clean, cold, and sharp. I realized something. Karma doesn't always roar. Sometimes it whispers. Sometimes it comes quietly, creeping in when the guilty are already on their knees. And this time, it came for them. I breathed deeply, watching the sky darken. I didn't feel victory. I didn't feel hate. I only felt myself returning. Piece by piece, moment by moment. For the first time in weeks, I didn't feel crushed. I only felt quiet, resilient. A subtle sense of control returning to a life that had been stolen from me. I whispered to the night, more to myself than anyone else, this is mine. Mine to rebuild. Mine to survive. And for the first time I believed it. The first time I saw Lena, she was arranging files on the conference table, her brow furrowed in concentration. Need a hand? I asked, trying not to sound like a ghost haunting my own life. She looked up, calm and steady. I think I've got it, but thanks. I nodded. There was something in her eyes, honest, not pitying, not judging. Over the next few days she started asking questions. How's your weekend? Did you see the new project specs? Small, ordinary things. One afternoon she leaned against my desk. You seem different. Tired? I shrugged, half smile. Yeah, I guess. Life's been complicated lately. She didn't push. Complicated can mean a lot of things. More than you'd want to know, I muttered. Yet for the first time in months I wanted to tell someone. So, tell me just a bit, she encouraged softly, if you feel like it. I told her about the resort, the betrayal, and the nights I couldn't sleep. Her face didn't change. She didn't look away. She just nodded. That's a lot, she said finally. I'm glad you shared it. I blinked. No judgment. No awkward silence. Just understanding. Later, my therapist's voice echoed in my head. Let go of the version of yourself that died in that room. It's okay to start over. I realized Lena was helping me do that without even knowing. One evening, I checked my phone. Mira had texted again. Long paragraphs full of apologies. I stared at the screen for a long moment, then blocked her. The act felt like shutting a door I'd kept open too long. You blocked her? Lena asked the next day, noticing my calm demeanor. Yes, I said. I needed space. Closure and silence. She smiled, a small, gentle curve. Good. You deserve that. We started eating lunch together, walking to meetings side by side. She laughed at my dry humor and I found myself laughing back without forcing it. Do you always handle life like this? She teased one day, raising an eyebrow. What do you mean? Quiet, careful. Watching, feeling, waiting. I shrugged. Maybe. I've learned rushing doesn't fix things. Her presence became the first warmth I felt in months. Not heat of passion, not thrill of infatuation, just simple human connection. You're different than everyone else here, she said one afternoon, looking straight at me. Not broken. Just recovering. I let myself believe it just a little. And for the first time in a long time, I thought maybe life could feel warm again, slowly, carefully, piece by piece. The lawyer's words were final. The divorce was complete. I signed the papers, my hands steady even though my chest felt hollow. When I got home, the photograph sat on the mantel, the last proof of what I'd lost. I stared at it for a long moment before lighting a match. You took my heart, I whispered to the flames, but you also taught me how to rebuild it. The paper curled, blackened, then fell into ashes. The smell of burning ink made my stomach churn, but in the pit of my chest, there was a strange lightness. My phone buzzed. Mira. Another long letter, full of apologies, of regret, of promises that she would never forget her choice. I read the first line, then silenced the notification. I didn't need her words. They couldn't touch me anymore. Later my father called. "Feeling all right, son?" "I think so," I said. "It's weird, quiet but okay." "You deserve peace," he said softly. I walked through my apartment, noting how empty it felt, but this time, empty was good. Clean. What? Hannah peeked in. "You okay, big brother?" I smiled faintly. "I am." Slowly. The evenings became mine. Long walks in the park, slow cups of coffee on the balcony, working late without thinking of anyone else. No guilt, no lingering anger. Just space. One night Lena called. "Going for a drive?" I hesitated. "I think I need to do this alone." "All right. But remember, it's okay to let someone in eventually." "I'll remember," I said. I drove under the stars, windows down, the wind brushing against my face. Each mile felt like leaving behind a part of my old life. Pain, betrayal, emptiness, all of it melting into the night. I whispered aloud, "This is the start of the real me." No one was there to hear, and that was perfect. The road stretched endlessly ahead. Lights flickered past, distant and serene, and for the first time in what felt like years, I breathed fully, deeply, freely. The betrayal that had once defined me no longer held power. The hurt was a shadow I acknowledged but no longer followed. I allowed myself a small laugh, soft and liberating. "I can do this," I said, almost to the stars. "I really can." The engine hummed steadily beneath me, carrying me forward. Forward into nights that were mine, into days I could shape, into life I could finally live on my terms. And in that quiet, endless stretch of road, I felt it. Strength I never knew I had. Freedom I had almost forgotten existed. For the first time since the beginning of it all, I was whole. "Hey, you're early," Lena said, her eyes lighting up as I entered the cafe. "Couldn't wait," I said, forcing a small smile. She laughed softly. "Good to see you like this. It suits you." I shook my head. "I'm not sure I know the like this you're talking about." "You seem lighter," she said, tilting her head. "More yourself." I felt a warmth in my chest I hadn't felt in months. "I'm learning," I admitted. "Learning how to live again, I guess." "Everyone deserves that," she said, brushing a strand of hair behind her ear. "Even you." We ordered coffee and sat by the window. The sunlight caught her hair, and for a moment I forgot everything else. "So," she began, leaning back, "what's your dream really? If no one was watching or judging." I laughed lightly. "I don't think I've thought that far. Surviving used to be my dream. Now. I paused. I want to be someone who doesn't let the past define him. Someone who can smile without remembering everything that went wrong." She smiled softly. "That's brave." "I'm not brave," I said. "Just tired of being broken." She reached across the table and touched my hand. "You're stronger than you realize. Every day you keep moving forward proves that." I looked at her, and the ache that had been constant for so long softened a little. "Thanks," I whispered. I needed to hear that. We spent hours talking, laughing at silly stories, sharing fears, and planning tiny, hopeful dreams. It was simple. It was light. And it felt like living. Later, as we walked down the street, I noticed how easily I could just be myself around her. "Do you think people can really start over?" I asked. "I do," she said without hesitation. "Some of us get a second chance. Some of us get many." I nodded, letting the words sink in. "I think I'm starting to understand that. Step by step." Meanwhile, whispers of Adrian and Myra's falling apart floated to me through the grapevine. I didn't care to dig deeper. Karma had its own way of telling the story. I didn't need to watch every chapter unfold. Instead, I focused on this. On being better. On being wiser. On being stronger. Lena became my safe space, the place where I could breathe without fear. And for the first time in a long time, I felt like I was ready to move forward. Not fully healed, not unbroken, but enough to start again. She squeezed my hand. "We'll figure it out together." I nodded. "Yeah, together." The warmth of her presence and the hope it carried made me realize that life really does give second chances. I stared at myself in the bathroom mirror, running my hands over my face like I was checking for cracks that weren't there. "Is this really me?" I muttered. The reflection stared back, stronger, calmer, alive. Not the hollow man I used to be. My phone buzzed. I stepped outside and almost collided with Mira. She froze, her eyes wide and trembling. I didn't expect to see you," she said, voice barely above a whisper. I raised an eyebrow. "You didn't think I'd be okay?" Her lips quivered. I wish I could undo everything." I shook my head slowly, feeling no anger, only a strange calm. I already forgave you, I said. But I moved on. Tears welled in her eyes. I never thought I'd lose you like this. I never thought I'd feel so empty. I hope you learned what it feels like, I said quietly. Not to punish you, just to let you understand. She nodded, choking back a sob. I'm sorry, she whispered. Truly. I didn't answer. There was nothing left to say. I felt a closure that didn't need words. The heaviness that had shadowed my chest for months lifted in a quiet, almost sacred way. I turned, leaving her standing there, lost and broken, and for the first time, I felt free walking away. At home, Lena opened the door. Her smile was warm, soft, and steady. Hey, she said. How was your day? I stepped inside, breathing in the comfort of normalcy, of safety. Better than I thought it could be, I admitted. She took my hand. I'm glad. I poured a cup of tea and sat by the window. The sunlight streamed in, filling the room with gold. It's strange, I murmured, how life didn't end the day I opened that door. It began. She leaned her head against my shoulder. You survived it all, she said softly. I didn't just survive, I said, watching the morning sky. I started again. We sat in silence for a while, letting the world continue without rushing it. Every small sound, the kettle boiling, the birds outside, her quiet breathing, felt like a promise. A new beginning. I thought of the past months, the pain, the betrayal, the sleepless nights, the rage, the silence. Every step, every heartbreak had led me here. And I realized I was ready. Ready to live for me. Ready to choose happiness without fear. I finally stood, walked to the front door, and opened it. The sun was rising, spilling warmth over everything I had once thought lost. This time, I whispered, feeling the strength in my chest, I choose myself. And I stepped forward into the light, into a life that was mine to claim fully, completely.